The jungle did not just accept Brian, it absorbed him. He had no memory of the warm-blooded world. His earliest recollection was not of a mother's lullaby, but of the slow, tectonic rhythm of massive coils constricting around him, not to crush, but to shield. His mother was Faith. She was a reticulated python of impossible proportions, a 25-foot ribbon of iridescent muscle, patterned in diamonds of charcoal, mustard yellow, and olive green. She was ancient, the undisputed apex of the shadowed lowland rainforest. Brian remembered the day he understood he was different. He was perhaps 5 years old, slick with mud, trying to mirror Faith's liquid movement across a fallen ironwood log. He slipped, scraping his knee. Red blood welled up, bright and shocking against his brown skin. Faith paused, her massive head swinging back. Her unblinking gold eyes, bisected by vertical slits, regarded the wound. Her tongue, a flickering black fork, tasted the air near his knee. She smelled the iron and the vulnerability. He waited for her to strike. That was the jungle law. Weakness is invitation. Instead, she lowered her head and nudged him forward with a snout as hard as a shovel. It was a gesture of supreme indifference that passed for affection. He was her strange, soft-shelled egg that had hatched into a clumsy two-legged thing. But he was hers. As Brian grew, his human instincts were overridden by reptilian discipline. He learned the language of vibration. He knew the thunderous tread of a forest elephant a mile away. He felt the frantic drumbeat of a mouse deer's heart through the soles of his feet before he even saw it. He learned stillness. Brian could crouch in the crotch of a tree for 3 days, motionless as orchids, his breathing slowed to a shallow sip of air once a minute. He learned that patience was the deadliest weapon. Warm-blooded creatures got hungry, got restless, made mistakes. The cold-blooded waited. His body adapted. He was wiry, his joints possessed of disquieting flexibility. He could dislocate his shoulders to squeeze through root systems and contort his spine in ways that would make an acrobat scream. His skin was tough, calloused from bark and stone, and he never felt the cold of the jungle night. When the sun dipped, he simply sought Faith, immense, heat-retaining mass, coiling himself within her loops like a smaller, paler snake. He hunted as she did. He did not use crude tools like the hairless apes he sometimes smelled on the jungle's edge. He used the ambush. By the time he was 15, he was a ghost in the canopy. On a humid afternoon, he hung inverted from a high branch, watching a sounder of wild boar rooting below. He targeted a straggler, a young male heavy with fat. Brian didn't jump. He poured himself from the branch. He landed silently behind the boar. Before the animal could squeal, Jiro's arms, ropes of sinew honed by years of mimicking faith-crushing power, wrapped around the boar's neck. He didn't choke it. He applied relentless, constricting pressure to the carotid arteries. The boar went limp in seconds. It was clean, quiet, and efficient. He dragged the kill to a hidden clearing where Faith dozed in a patch of gathered sunlight. She raised her head, tasting the fresh kill on the air. She didn't eat. She had consumed the crocodile 2 weeks prior and was still digesting. But she allowed him to eat in her presence, a sign of deepest trust. It was the dry season when the intruders came. Brian smelled them first, an acrid stench of burned tobacco, sweat that reeked of fear, and something metallic and chemical. They were loud, hacking through the undergrowth with machetes, their voices jarring and rhythmic. From the high canopy, Brian watched them. 6 men in tan clothes carrying strange black sticks that smelled of death. They were looking for something, turning over rocks, checking instruments. Faith sensed his agitation. She slid down the tree trunk, her scales whispering against the bark, coming to rest beside him. Her tongue flickered, tasting the intruders. Threat. The vibration traveled from her body into his. The men made camp near a river bend, lighting a fire that offended the night. Jiro watched from the darkness, mesmerized and repulsed by these creatures that looked so like him, yet were so alien. They cooked meat over the fire, ruining it, he thought. They laughed loudly, shattering the jungle's necessary silence. On the third day, they found Kaida's recent shedding skin. It was a translucent ghost of her, 20-something feet long, draped over a boulder. The men became excited. The leader, a man with a thick gray beard, gestured wildly. That night they set traps. Great steel jaws hidden beneath leaves, baited with bloody chickens. Brian understood.